Hello there, my name is Kudo. I'm doing this presentation for ME7731, MyRio and Love You, and yeah, this is our front panel. As you can see, we have the analog input and a digital input, which is a toggle switch, and this is the sensor, and these constantly feed into this loop. And as you can see, it produces an error, and this error gets taken into the PID, which also ends up having a value, which ends up being an output to the analog output and digital outputs, which are the LEDs. We can see more of this. Oh, and also the display. We can see more of this in the front panel. On the front panel, we have our toggle switch, which is currently in the disabled position, labeled by power. And as this in this disabled position, it also shows system off, which is also shown on the LCD screen, and is also shown on the LED screen. This mirrors what's happening on the box itself, and if we run the software, I'll just go through that. As we run the software, we have to turn on and enable the toggle switch, which starts off by powering the fan, because the current temperature right now is 26 and the set temperature is 25. The temperature can easily be set by adjusting this value, and it's also represented in a temperature over time graph over here, with the set temperature being the white line indicated there, and the red temperature being the current temperature within the heat chamber. And as you can see, we already have pre-selected PID values and a weight function, which can also be customized, which has been set to 200. These values can be varied depending on what you're trying to do. And right now, it's trying to maintain the temperature, so it's using both the lamp and the fan because of its high gains. If we try to increase the temperature to 40 degrees, that's the system's response. Each switch has a different function. So right now, if we press on the toggle switch on the front panel, it would disable the whole entire system. And as you can see, it's in power, light is illuminating, meaning that it's been disabled, power disabled, and this also stops. If we enable it, it continues, and if we disable the physical toggle switch, the same thing can be done, and it also indicates. And for both to be working, both toggle switches need to be within the same position, which would be power disabled position, which is disabled. And as it reaches the temperature, you also notice it also responds appropriately based on the gains as well. And as we increase it to 60 degrees, it has a limit of 55 degrees, where if it goes past 55 degrees, an error message should appear, both on the LCD, the LEDs, and also on the front panel's display as well. As you can see, the step inputs are also represented on the graphs as the lines, and as the system gradually increases. We're gonna be here for a while. How many minutes is it?
It's coming to like 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
Still recording. And as we approach 60 degrees, or it's 55 degrees, you can see there's also an error display, which shows the value of the error currently. Because it wants to reach a higher level, the error is a positive. When you're decreasing the value, the error is going to be negative, which I will show later on. And as it approaches 55 degrees, an error message pops up, disables the entire system. But as it disables the entire system, it shuts everything off, and it also presents an error message on the LCD screen, an error message on the front panel, and everything else seizes. And for safety precautions, if you try to run this and the temperature is still above 55 degrees, it will not work, because over here, these two statements are the ones that affect whether the system runs or not. And just to show you its cooling capabilities, if it was to cool the system back down to 26 degrees, that's the system's response in cooling. The sensor has been placed close within an optimized position for both the LED and the fan to have an impact on it. And the values that are in there can also be seen right now, with this being the set value and then this line showing the current value in the fan and the system on message. And as it approaches, the error signal decreases. The error signal currently is negative because it's trying to cool the system, and the lamp and the fan work separately but opposite as parallels. Parallel. And as it reaches 26 degrees, it basically maintains that temperature, with the only limitations being the system's frequency. And that'll be it. Thank you. Please come again. That's how we do.